This conference will now be recorded.
Hello all, good morning. Welcome back. Yeah, so today we are going to cover what is server, what is network, what is switch, what is router. సో ఎస్టర్డే ఏటీఎం బ్యాచ్ లో కవర్ అయిందండి. మీరు అటెండ్ అయ్యారా నరసింహ గారు అండ్ సాంబశివరావు గారు? ఎస్టర్డే మనకి ఏటీఎం బ్యాచ్ లో సర్వర్స్, స్విచెస్, బేసిక్స్ కవర్ చేస్తాం కదా, అది మీరు అటెండ్ అయ్యారా?
No, sir.
లేదు సార్, టుడే ఇస్ ద ఫస్ట్ డే.
ఓకే, నో ప్రాబ్లం అండి. అది ఏటీఎం బ్యాచ్ లో నిన్న జరిగింది. అది మనం అక్కడి నుంచి మనం స్టార్ట్ చేద్దాం. ఫస్ట్ 2 డెమోస్, ఫస్ట్ 3 డెమోస్ మీరు అటెండ్ అయ్యారు కదా ఏటీఎం బ్యాచ్ లో?
No, sir, I have not attended. You can
Okay.
carry on. I'll check it. No issues.
రైట్ రైట్, ఓకే ఫైన్. సో అయితే మీకు డెమో సెషన్స్ వీడియోస్ షేర్ చేయలేదు అనుకుంటా. ఒకసారి 3 వీడియోస్ ఉన్నాయి, ఫస్ట్ 3 డెమోస్, అవి మీకు ఇస్తాను. జస్ట్ గో త్రూ ఇట్ అండి. ఓకే
Okay.
యా, సో అది డెమోస్, సింపుల్ డెమోస్. మనం ఎస్టర్డే సెషన్ నుంచి, అంటే ఎస్టర్డే ఏటీఎంలో బేసిక్స్ కవర్ అయినాయి, అక్కడి నుంచి స్టార్ట్ చేద్దాం ఈరోజు.
Okay.
ఓకే అండి. యా,
Yeah, that's better, sir. Actually, this is completely fast track, right? So it's better to start from today.
ఎస్ ఎస్, కరెక్ట్. యా,
Yeah.
డెమోస్ ఒకటే స్కిప్ చేస్తాను. డెమోస్ మీకు వీడియోస్ ఇస్తాను, చూస్తారా? లేదంటే అక్కడి నుంచి స్టార్ట్ చేద్దాం.
You can skip, sir.
యా యా, డెమోస్ యూ కెన్ స్కిప్, రైట్? యా, ఫైన్.
Yeah.
ఐ విల్ ప్రొవైడ్ యూ వీడియోస్, నాట్ అన్ ఇష్యూ. యూ
Sure.
కెన్ గో త్రూ
Okay.
దట్ later also. Fine. Yeah. So let us start. Yeah, introduction to servers and networks. Okay. So in this session, we'll try to understand what is server, types of servers, server and client and best practices, what is operating system, types of operating systems, and what is network, types of networks, what is IP address, subnet mask, gateway, and what is router. So, and also server architecture. So all these things will be covered. Okay. So today we discuss about this basics and also how to create AWS account, what are the services available in the AWS console. So we'll walk through one by one.
Okay.
Fine. So complete 2 hours we'll cover today. From tomorrow we'll start sharp 9. Okay. So without
Okay.
delay, we start by sharp 9. You can join sharp 9 so that we'll start by 9. Okay. Fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So can you mute yourself so that recording will not be disturbed? Record will be, yeah, noise will be avoid noise. Fine. So let us go through one by one. So basically, what is server? Server is a server is a yeah. Instead of the server storage we have, but server is a main device, main computer in the data center, right? So why we require server? Why we require servers? To serve the request to other computers. To serve the request to other computers means client server, client missions. So what is client? Client means it is a desktop or laptop, right? Server will serve the request to other computers which are desktops or laptops, right? So normally, why we use servers in real time projects? Because server will have more computing power, more memory, more CPU, more hard drive, right? So and also it will have more performance, right? So normally these servers will serve the different types of requests. In place of server we can use desktop, right? But desktop will have some limitations, right? That is why in real time projects in data centers will configure servers, right? Fine. So server is a computer that serves information to other computers called clients. Client means desktop or laptop. So can connect to a server through either local area network or a wide area network such as the internet, right? So normally when we join into the project, okay, our laptop will have some connectivity, cable, network connectivity. So that is a LAN connectivity. Through LAN we can connect our servers. So currently the project is using Wi-Fi also, Wi-Fi. But earlier we used to use only LAN cables. LAN will connect to our laptop and we can connect our network and servers, our devices in project. Right? Fine. Next one is types of servers. We have three types of servers available here. First one is blade server. So blade servers are thin servers, small modules which are available in the container, one container. This is one container. Inside of this container, we have different blade servers, different modules. Okay, so these are very high performance servers. So normally in the enterprise level, we configure the servers. Enterprise environments means, for example, Google projects, okay, UNG, United Health Group, and different enterprise level projects. We use blade servers. These are very high performance servers. Next one is rack server. These are the traditional servers. Rack servers are traditional servers. We will have one rack. Instead of the rack, we will insert number of servers based on the capacity. Normally, we can insert 48 servers in one rack. 48 servers can be hosted in single rack. Okay. Yeah, in physical data centers, we'll see that racks. Okay. So this is third one is tower server. Tower servers are a bit older. Okay, so this only one cabinet will be there. Instead of the cabinet, only one server will be hosted. Okay, so these are bit older servers. Currently, we are not using tower servers. Some project teams they are using rack servers. Some project teams are they are using blade servers. But
what's the difference between those three difference?
all servers are same, but
Okay.
performance wise, blade servers are bit faster compared with rack servers, and also enterprise level it will support, these servers will support enterprise applications we can host in blade servers. Performance, right?
It's only performance.
Performance, yes. And rack servers also manage, but performance wise blade servers are they will give very good performance, and pricing also bit high, this blade servers.
Which one is high, sir?
Blade servers.
Which server?
Yeah, blade servers are bit higher cost
Each server, how much data will storage?
based on the storage capacity. Okay, whatever storage you allocated in that.
What's the cost, sir? Cost.
Server costing
Yeah.
$4,000, $5,000 like that. Minimum would be $4,000. Okay. Yeah. Next one is, yeah. See here, blade server. A blade server is a modular server that allows multiple servers to be hosted in the smaller area. So these are the multiple servers, right? We hosted in the smaller area. So these servers are physically thin and typically only have CPU, memory, integrated network controllers, and sometimes storage devices also built in within the blade servers. Blade servers are often seen in large data centers, big data centers. Normally, we use blade servers. So rack server is a server mounted inside of a rack. Okay, and rack servers are typically general purpose servers that support a broad range of applications and computing. Right. Third one is tower server. A tower server is a computer that is built in an upright cabinet that stand alone and that is designed to function as a server. So this is a single standalone server. We don't install other servers in this. Only one server in one cabinet, one tower, right? So these are the types of servers available. So this is client server model. These are the servers. These are the clients. Through internet we can connect our servers, right? Client means it can be desktop or laptop or tab, right? Through internet we can connect our servers like this. So what is operating system? Operating system అంటే ఏంటంటే what is operating system?
Which operates all the things in that.
We have Windows in our laptop, right? We have Windows in our laptop. That is operating system, right? So what is the use of that? What is the function? What is the main purpose of that, right?
Which handles the all operations in that.
Yeah,
Functions. It will be operate the functions.
which will operate the functions. Fine, okay. Yeah, operating system is an interface between hardware,
That's all.
computer hardware, and user. It is the interface between computer hardware and user, right? So because hardware will understand only binary language, zeros and ones, 000, 001, 100, 111, like that. So computer hardware always understand binary language, but a human user will not understand binary language, for which we require some translator, some interface, which is nothing but operating system. So operating system will convert into binary language to human readable language and vice versa for effective communication, right? So operating system will help you to interact with your hardware, right? Fine. So this is the definition of operating system. Operating system is an interface between user and the computer hardware. The hardware of the computer cannot understand the human readable language as it works on binaries, that is zeros and ones, right? So in such case we need some interface which can translate human language to hardware and vice versa for effective communication. Types of operating systems. What are the types available in operating system? First one is single user, single tasking operating system. Single user means one user can log into the system, he can perform only one task at a time. That is nothing but single user, single tasking operating system, which is, for example, MS-DOS, Microsoft Data Operating System, right? So earlier we used to use this before Windows, MS-DOS, okay? Single user, single tasking operating system. One user can log into the system and he can perform one task at a time, right? Next one is single user multitasking operating system. So in this type of operating system, one user can log into the system and he can perform multiple tasks at a time. For example, Windows. So, for example, when we log into the laptop, while browsing internet, we can run background songs, right? Background audios. So, as a single user, you can run multiple operations at a time, right? That is single user multitasking operating system. Third one is multi-user multitasking operating system. So, multiple users can log into the system and they can perform multiple tasks at a time, right? Which is nothing but multi-user multitasking operating system, which is Linux and Unix, right? So normally in real-time projects, okay? So when we are deploying the code as a DevOps engineer, so application team will involve into that and they will check the application, and testing team will test the application, and a build and release team will involve and they will test the applications. Like every team will log into the Linux servers. So in real-time projects, backend we use Linux environment only, Linux servers only. So we don't use Windows. Backend always we use Linux because security, performance. Okay, we use Linux servers. So Linux servers will allow you to access as many users, as many as they can log into the server. They can perform their own tasks, multiple tasks. Okay, so Linux servers at a time, multiple users can log into the system. They can perform multiple tasks at a time.
Can we use that Windows as a backend software, backend operating system? The
We,
firewall.
we can use for some applications, but not all applications. Enterprise level applications, most of the data centers, most of the project teams, they use Linux only.
Can you give me the enterprises examples? Like,
Yeah, enterprise example means, for example, digital site. Flipkart application is there.
okay,
Flipkart is running.
yeah,
So Flipkart backend, there is Linux servers only, right? Reliance Digital, backend Linux servers. Those are enterprise applications. So online applications, right? 24/7,
Banking
they will be
also.
available.
Banking.
Banking also, most of the service they use Linux only. Banking and insurance domains. Okay. Yeah. Next one is what is networking? What is networking? It's networking and internet.
Connections and what we have is
Yeah. So two or more computers connect through some cable, some network to share the data, files, resources. We
share
can
transfer.
to transfer the yeah, data, whatever, right? So through networking only it will be happen, right? Either it can be any network, so Wi-Fi network or cable network, whatever, right? So networking is nothing but it is a group of computer can connect, communicate each other, right? So definition here is a network consists of two or more computer devices that are linked in order to share resources and allow electronic communications, right? So what are the important types of computer networks? Here we have different types of networks available. First one is PAN, LAN, WAN, MAN. PAN means personal area network, LAN means local area network, WAN means wide area network, MAN means metropolitan area network.
Metro.
Metropolitan area, metro network, metro area network, you can say, right? So these are the different types of networks available, right? So let us go one by one. So what is PAN? PAN is nothing but it is a
Personal.
personal area network. So PAN is a computer network formed around a person. It generally consists of a computer, mobile or personal device, personal digital assistant. PAN can be used for establishing the communication among those personal devices for connecting a
Digital.
for connecting to a digital network and the internet, right? So this is the example, PAN example. For example, we are using laptop, right? So we can use wireless mouse,
Yeah.
wireless headset through Bluetooth only, right? And we can use wireless printer, wireless keyboard, right? So this is the personal area network, PAN. So PAN is fine, but there is a limitation, distance limitation. Okay, so I'll show you that. So characteristics of PAN here. First one is it is mostly personal devices network equipped within a limited area. Allows you to handle interconnection of IT devices at the surrounding of a single user. PAN includes mobile devices, tablets and laptops. Advantage of PAN is PAN networks are relatively secure and safe. It offers only short range solution up to 10 meters only, right? Within the floor, within the room, we can use this PAN networks. Strictly restricted to a small area, right? So Bluetooth will work maximum 10 minutes, 10 meters only. 10 meters means from here to that place, right? So within the limited area. For example, we are using mouse, Bluetooth mouse. So it is yeah, nearby laptop only we can use, right? So headset, just we use here. Printer, use nearby. And keyboard, use nearby, like that, right? Even projectors also, we can use Bluetooth projectors. Without cable, Bluetooth projectors also we can use. Okay, so there is a distance limitation here. Disadvantage of PAN is distance. This is only the disadvantage. Okay, network is secured and very good, but
Distance.
limitation is the distance limit is very less. Next one is the LAN. So what is LAN? It stands for local area network. It is a group of network devices that allow and communication between various connected devices. It covers the smallest areas such as colleges, schools, hospitals, and so on. Okay, so LAN can be working within the floor or within the building. We can configure LAN. LAN means local area network, which is cable network, local area cabling network, right? For example, this is the floor. We have different rooms. In different rooms, different systems are there. Through LAN connectivity, we can connect the network and we can share the files from one room to other room. Or else within the floor also we can use. For example, we have 5 floors. For example, hospital. In hospital, we have 5 floors. Through LAN connectivity, you can share the data from one floor to other floor, right? So this is the LAN connectivity, local area network connectivity, right? Characteristics of LAN, here we have, it is a private network. LAN operates a relatively higher speed compared to other WAN systems. LAN is definitely higher speed, right? For example, in our home, we are using router, internet router. So when you use Wi-Fi, it is fine, it is okay. So when you connect cable to router to laptop, it is higher speed. If you observe that, it would be higher speed, right? Compare with Wi-Fi. So here also, LAN relatively higher speed compare with other networks. Okay. Advantage of LAN. So computer resources like hard disks, DVD ROMs, printers can share local area networks. This significantly reduces the cost of hardware purchases. Means what will happen here? For example, in the building there are 5 floors in the hospital, for example. So in one floor we can configure printer, we can configure network printer, and we can print from any floor. The print will be happened in the particular printer. Due to that, what will happen? Cost will be reduced. So instead of having all the floors, the printer, we can configure one printer only, which is network printer. Through network, we can print the documents, whatever documents we require. So data of all network users can store on a single hard disk of the server computer. Even though we can use one server and we can share data from all the floors, right? So it will be easy to manage data at only one place, which makes data more secure, right? Disadvantages. So unauthorized users can access critical data of an organization in case of LAN admin is not able to secure. If the LAN admin is not capable, the data will be leaked. Okay, some hackers will access the data. So we have to implement the security here. Okay. Next one is WAN, MAN. So MAN means Metropolitan Area Network, right? So it covers the largest area than LAN, such as small towns, cities, etc. MAN connects to or more computers that resides within the same or completely different cities. Okay, so MAN network basically, so within the city, for example, some branches are there. Through MAN we can connect, or else different cities through MAN network. MAN means fiber optic networks. We use fiber optic networks. Okay, this is metropolitan area network. So these are the hospitals, schools, college, factory, like this. Okay, so in different cities or same city, you can connect using MAN network, metropolitan area network. So characteristics of MAN, here it mostly covers towns and cities in maximum 50 kilometers range through cable only. This one also through cable only. Mostly used medium is optical fibers cables. So optical fiber is so very higher speed cables. Okay. Advantage of MAN. So it offers fast communication using high-speed carriers like fiber optic cables. It provides excellent support for an extensive size network and greater access to WANs. A MAN network mostly includes some areas of city or entire city. Okay. So these are the advantages. Disadvantages. So here drawbacks. You need to have more cable to establish MAN connection from one place to other place. In MAN network, it is thought to make the system secure from hackers. Okay. Disadvantages are, yeah, these are the disadvantages. Next one is WAN, wide area network. It stands for wide area network. It covers a large area than land as well as man, such as country and continents from one country to other country. If you want to communicate, okay. WAN is expensive and should or might not be owned by one or nation. So if you want to establish WAN connectivity, one project team cannot bear that, right? It is a satellite media. Through satellite will be transfer the data, right? Yeah, this is the WAN, wide area network. So it is a combination of LAN and MAN, right? Yeah, characteristics of WAN is like any organization can from its global integrated network using WAN. Advantages here. So WAN helps you to cover a larger geographical area. Therefore, business offers situated at longer distance can easily communicate. So yeah, WLAN is just a typo error here. So WAN connections work using radio transmitters, receivers built in client devices, right? Disadvantages. So here major disadvantage is the initial setup of cost is very high. Initial setup cost of investment is very high. So first time when we establish the cost is very high. It is difficult to maintain the WAN network. You need to have skilled technician and network administrator to maintain this WAN network. There are more errors and issues because of wide coverage, right? The use of different, yeah, we have to use different technologies here to maintain the WAN networks. Okay, so whenever we have distance, more errors issues will be occur, right? So for which we required some skilled technicians and network administrators in this. Okay, so these are the types of networks: PAN, LAN, WAN, MAN. These are the different networks, right? So currently we are not using all these networks. Sorry.
LAN and wireless networks.
The-
There are another two wireless networks in one.
These are the networking types. I could not understand properly. Malak sir అడగండి.
ఒకటిలో నుంచి ఇంకొకటి కనెక్టివిటీ ఉండాలి.
Right, yeah.
Those are wireless networks.
Wireless అన్నారా? లేదు, వైడ్ connectivity. So these are old networks actually. So currently we are not using this. Okay. Currently the trend has been changed completely. We are using cloud, right? So we are not using any cable networks currently. So some companies still they are using, but slowly they are migrating. Okay. Yeah. Next one is what is an IP address? IP address అంటే ఏంటండి? Anyone have any idea? What is IP address? IP stands for Internet Protocol, right? So it is a unique address for any device, for any server, any desktop, any laptop. Every system will have one IP address, which is unique address, right? To communicate the device. Every person will have one name, right? The same way, every system will have unique address to communicate, right? Yeah, see here, IP stands for Internet Protocol. An IP address is a unique address that identify a device on the internet or a local network, which is the set of rules governing the format of data sent via the internet or local area network, right? So subnet, what is subnet? Subnet అంటే ఏంటండి? Subnet means it is a sub network. So for example, we have 1,000 servers. Okay, so 1,000 servers are in single subnet. Subnet means one group. We can say one group, right? So in this 1,000 servers, we have 250 servers are development servers, 250 servers are testing servers, 500 servers are production servers. So if all the servers are in same subnet, we cannot implement the security. For example, this is one floor. In this floor, We don't have rooms. One class is going on that place, other class is going here. What will happen? Some disturbance will be happen, right? Some no security also, right? So that is why we have rooms here. The same way, as per the requirement, as per the project, we create some subnets, subgroups. We can create some subgroups. So that what will happen? We can implement our security, whatever security we want to implement, we can implement, right? So logically divided into the groups. Subnet means we can divide logically, not physically. Logically we can divide, right? Yeah. A subnet or subnetwork is a smaller network inside a larger network. Okay. So see here, these are the different subnets. This is one subnet, subnet 2, subnet 3, like this. Okay. So each subnet will have one IP range. Every subnet will have IP range. From one subnet to other subnet, if you want to communicate, we require some router. Some routing is required, right? So every subnet will have different IP range. See here, for example, this is one subnet. So here IP address is 200.200.10.48/29, right? So if I want to communicate from here to here, this range is different. See here, this range is different, this range is different, right? To communicate different subnets, we require some routers, routing. Next one is network switch. What is network switch? A switch is a device in a computer network that connects other devices together. So multiple data cables are plugged into the switch to enable communication between different networked devices. Okay, so this is the switch. So normally this is a traditional switch. Earlier we used to use like this. So we will configure one switch, we'll connect all the cables to the switch, and with that cables we connect to different devices to communicate from each other. Okay, to share the data from one system to other system, one server to other server. We used to use like this. Next one is what is gateway? So gateway and ఏంటి? Okay, gateway is nothing but it is a ఏం చెప్పొచ్చు మనం gateway అంటే? Yeah, for example, if you want to enter into any network, we require some gateway, right? Gateway means it is the interface also, you can say. Yeah. So for example, in our home we are using routers. Router is also gateway. Router is also gateway. For example, in your laptop you have some IP address. From your IP address to other system, if you want to connect other network, so your IP is in some range, you want to communicate other range, means for that we require some gateway. From one network to other network, if you want to communicate, we require some gateway. Through router we can communicate. For example, in my laptop one IP is there, I have one IP, I want to communicate Google server. That is different range, for which we require some gateway, which is nothing but router. It will give you internet, also it will allow you to connect other networks, right?
So switch is a physical device or software device?
Switch is nothing but it is a device, just physical.
Physical device.
Yes, physical device, right? So these are the gateways. Router, gateway is a gateway nothing but router. From this network to this network, if I want to communicate, we require some router. This is the router, gateway. Okay, so this IP range is different, this IP range is different. From here to here I want to communicate, for which I require some router, right? Yeah, so these are the things available. And next one is, I'll give you some examples. So server architecture examples. Okay. So how the servers are configured earlier and how we are configuring currently. So what are the different configurations are available. So we'll try to understand. So server architecture, server architecture. Server architecture and initial stage of implementation. Initial stage of implementation means, so 90s and early 2000, how the server architecture. So let us try to understand. So these are very, very important because currently we are using advanced architectures, right? If you understand this, you can easily understand current architectures, right? Fine. In 90s and early 2000, when we want to set up any servers, when we want to set up any architecture, how it was. So let us try to understand. For example, the project teams, how they implemented server architecture. For example, they have, yeah, by the time in 90s and early 2000, so maximum capacity of the hard drive is 1 GB by the time. 90s and early 2000, highest capacity of the hard drive is 1 GB only. 1 GB means it's highest capacity, right? So in 2005, my career started. Okay, so by in 2002, 2003, by the time I used to observe highest capacity is 4.3 GB, right? In 90s, highest capacity is 1 GB, right? So every server will have 1 GB. Every server they were using 1 GB by the time 1 GB. Here also 1 GB. So when the project teams wanted to implement server architecture, for example, project teams wanted to implement different applications, different like Java application, Tomcat, like that. So 4 applications project team wanted to deploy. For example, Java application will take 400 MB, for example. So every application they used to take single server. For one application, one server by the time in 90s and early 2000. For Java, they took one server here. So it will take 400 MB for Java. Remaining 600 MB will be wasted, right? 600 MB space will be wasted. And next one is Jenkins, for example, Jenkins, DevOps tool Jenkins. By the time Jenkins was not there, just giving example, Jenkins. Jenkins will take 500 MB, remaining 500 MB will be wasted. And next one is Git tool. It will take, for example, 300 MB, remaining 700 MB will be wasted, right? Next one is Tomcat application, Apache Tomcat. Yeah, Tomcat will take some 600 MB, for example. Remaining 400 MB will be wasted. So in 90s and early 2000, every project team used to take like this for each application, each server. So by the time server costing also very high, server costing, hardware costing very high. So here what will happen? Utilization is less and costing is more. Server utilization is less because 400 MB, 500 MB, 300 MB, 600 MB like this they used to use, but hardware costing is very high. Due to this, project teams unable to bear the costing by the time. So this is actually failed concept. This is first phase of implementation. This is failed concept. Okay, so that is why slowly they move to next phase of implementation, which is second phase of implementation. In second phase of implementation, So they used to take higher capacity of server. One higher capacity server, they used to take like this. Okay. So in this, they used to implement all the applications in one server. So here, first phase of implementation, they took separate server for separate application. But second phase of implementation, they used to take higher capacity server. In that, they used to deploy all the applications like Java, Jenkins, Git, also Tomcat. They used to implement like this in second phase of implementation, right? So in this, in this architecture, so what will happen here? Java user will access Java application, Jenkins user will access Jenkins application, Git user will access Git application, Tomcat user will access Tomcat application, right? So four users will access the same server. They access their respective applications. So in this case, what will happen? So Java user may access Jenkins application also. Jenkins user may access Git application also. Git user may access Tomcat application. There may be chances to access, but Java user, he can access Java application, but there may be chances to access Jenkins also because four applications will be deployed on same server. For example, four people are staying in one flat, two people are staying in one bedroom, two people are staying in one other bedroom. So the four people can access commonly kitchen and dining, right? The same way, so if the four applications are deployed on same server, there may be chances to access. Still we have security, but there may be chances. That is one disadvantage, right? And also, if this server is crash, what will happen?
Total system.
All the applications will be gone, right? So that is also second disadvantage. That is why this is also failed concept, right? Slowly, in 2000, after 2000, so virtual servers came into market. Virtualization in third phase of implementation. Third phase of implementation. Virtual servers. Virtual servers came into market so that in this third phase of implementation, so virtual servers, right? How we configure virtual servers? Let us try to understand. In third phase of implementation, so we used to take one physical server. This is, we can say, base server or base OS. Okay. So in this base server, we'll have memory, RAM, for example, 24 GB, CPU, 8 core something, 8 core CPU, and 4 TB hard drive. So like that, higher capacity servers we configure in virtual environment. This is physical server, for example. Okay. So on top of this physical server, we deploy some package from first one. We deploy one software which is VMware or hypervisor. This is a software, just software. So on physical server, we deploy some package. On top of that, we create virtual servers. Here we create virtual servers like this. See here. So these are the virtual servers. Virtual server అంటే ఏంటండి అసలు? అది సర్వరే కానీ ఫిజికల్గా రిసోర్సెస్ ఏమి ఉండవు, వర్చువల్గా క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం. సో దిస్ వర్చువల్ సర్వర్స్ విల్ బి accessible resource from physical server. Whatever hardware is available in the physical server, those hardware will be utilized by this virtual servers. So on top of physical server, we install one layer which is VMware or hypervisor, which will allow you to create virtual servers, right? So here we have virtual servers. Here what we will do, here we can install one operating system. Here we can install here different flavors, different types of operating systems we can install on each virtual server. So here we can install Windows 2012 R2. Here we can install RHCL Linux flavor. Here we can install Windows 2016. Here we can install Linux Ubuntu. Here we can install CentOS. These are the servers, different servers, different flavors we can install on different servers. Okay, so these servers will be utilized resource from physical server. So still we are using virtual servers in real time, but here some drawbacks are there. What are those? So when we want to create any operating system, we use ISO image. ISO image. ISO image means, for example, in your laptop you want to install Windows. To install Windows, what we will do? We use one image, right? So in that image, all the packages, all the features will be there. Using that, we can install Windows 10 or Windows 8, whatever, right? The same way, server side also, we use ISO images. ISO means International Standardization Organization. So that is a full-blown operating system. Using ISO image, we can create server operating system, right? Fine. So here drawbacks are, so this virtual servers, when you want to deploy any package on the servers, okay, to deployment time and downtime is high. Deployment time and downtime is high. What is deployment time? What is downtime?
Installation.
Deployment means installations, package installation, code deployments, and plugins installation. That is deployment. To deploy any package, it will take some time, right? And also downtime. What is downtime? Downtime and ఏంటండి? డౌన్ టైమ్ అంటే మనం చూస్తాం కదా రియల్ టైంలో. సో డౌన్ టైమ్ అంటే ఏంటండి? డౌన్ టైమ్ మీన్స్ మెయింటెనెన్స్ టైం, సర్వర్ మెయింటెనెన్స్ టైం. సో డిప్లాయ్మెంట్ టైం, డౌన్ టైమ్ is high. అంటే so to deploy application it will take some time. So maintenance time, once you deploy the application, you have to restart the server. So when you restart the server, it will take minimum 4 minutes to 8 minutes. So when you restart the server, because when you restart the virtual server or physical server, first it will check memory, updates, RAM, whatever services are there. It will check and it will start. Normally when you restart your laptop, it will check some updates sometimes, right? The same way server side, it will always check that updates. Minimum 4 minutes to 8 minutes it will take. So in real time production environments, 4 minutes to 8 minutes means it is use time. So client applications, for example, some digital application is running, some Flipkart is running on the server. So if you hold for 8 minutes, what will happen? If the site is down for 8 minutes, what will happen? Business will be impacted. So that is why it is very difficult, right? So 8 minutes to 4 minutes to 8 minutes means it is very high time. So that is why, so project teams are looking for next level. What is that? We'll see that. Okay. So here drawbacks are deployment time, downtime is high in this virtual machines. Still we are using virtual machines, but here deployment time, downtime is high. And also one more important thing here is, yeah. So when you want to create ISO image, it will take the space like minimum 6 GB to 16 GB for each server. For example, if you want to install Windows 2016 on single server, single virtual server, it will take 16 GB for only Windows 2016. On top of that, we have to install applications, right? It will take a lot of space. But here we have, yeah, 5 into 5, 25 servers. For operating system, it will take huge data. That is also one of the drawback here, right? Fine. So next, fourth phase of implementation.
ఎక్కడ ఛార్జ్ ఉంటుంది సార్ ఇప్పుడు బేస్ సర్వర్ ఏమన్నా డౌన్ చేసుకుంటే టోటల్ ఈ సర్వర్
యా ఉంటుంది, కానీ ఇక్కడ ఒక కాన్సెప్ట్ యాడ్ అవుతుంది. సో విల్ హ్యావ్ వన్ కాన్సెప్ట్ విచ్ ఇస్ క్లస్టరింగ్ కాన్సెప్ట్. విల్ డిస్కస్ లేటర్.
ఇన్స్టెన్స్ ఏరియాలో ఇప్పుడు సర్వర్స్ ఉన్నాయి కదా సార్, ఓన్లీ 1 GB వరకు ఉండేది, లేకపోతే ఇట్లా పార్షియలైజ్ 500 GB కానీ 600 GB కానీ ఉండేవో సర్వర్స్?
లేదు, అప్పట్లో అదే హైయెస్ట్ కెపాసిటీ.
మినిమం ఉంటాయి కదా సార్ 500 ఇట్లా, మనకి యూజ్ తగ్గట్టు తీసుకోవచ్చు కదా సార్ సర్వర్స్ అనేది. అప్పుడు మనకి మెసేజ్ అనేది ఉండదు కదా.
మీరు ఎక్కడ చెప్తున్నారా?
ఇన్స్టెన్స్ ఏరియాలో ఇప్పుడు జావాకి 400 MB రిక్వైర్డ్ అని మనకు తెలుసు. సో 400 MB దాకా సర్వర్ తీసుకుంటే సరిపోతుంది కదా, మెసేజ్ అనేది ఉండదు కదా మనకి.
అప్పట్లో స్టోరేజ్ ఎలా ఉండదు, 1 GB హార్డ్ డ్రైవ్ ఉండదు, 400 MB లేవు అప్పట్లో. 400 MB ఉన్న కాస్ట్ చాలా కాస్ట్ ఉండేది. ఓకే,
కంపేర్ టు 1 GB 400 MB తక్కువ ఉంటుంది,
కొంచెం తక్కువ ఉంటుంది, అండర్స్టాండ్ దాట్. బట్ ఏంటంటే 1 GBలో మనం ఏం చేస్తాం, అసలు ఏం చేయలేం కదా. 1 GB హార్డ్ డ్రైవ్లో ఏ డిప్లాయ్ చేయగలం మనం? ఓన్లీ జావా ఒకటే అవుతుంది, అంతే కదా. సో ఇంకొక అప్లికేషన్ మనం డిప్లాయ్ చేయలేము. సెకండ్ ఫేజ్ ఆఫ్ ఇంప్లిమెంటేషన్ ఏంటంటే అప్పటికి 10 GB అంత వచ్చినట్టు ఉంది. సో అప్పుడు 4 అప్లికేషన్స్ కూడా ఒకటే సర్వర్లో డిప్లాయ్ చేసేవారు. ఓకే, సో ఇది నేను చూసాను, అబ్జర్వ్ చేశాను అప్పట్లో 90sలో. నేను ఎడ్యుకేషన్లో ఉన్నాను అప్పుడు, MCA నడుస్తున్నప్పుడు. సో ఆ టైంలో నేను చూసినప్పుడు 1 GB అంటే హైయెస్ట్. అప్పుడు మేము ప్రాజెక్టులు చేసాం ఆ టైంలో. సో అప్పట్లో 1 GB అంటే హయ్యర్ కెపాసిటీ అనమాట. సో కాస్టింగ్ కూడా చాలా ఎక్కువ ఉండేది డిస్క్. ఓకే, యా. Next, fourth phase of implementation is, it is latest, it is current trend. Okay, so to avoid this deployment time, downtime, project teams are looking for Docker containers. Docker containers, which is fourth phase of implementation. So how the Docker container architecture? So let us try to understand. So this is the Docker server. Docker server. So on top of this Docker server, we deploy some application, some image, which is nothing but Docker image, same as virtual servers. Docker image. So on top of that, we create containers. Like this, we create containers. Okay, so these containers are, in these containers what we will do, we deploy different operating systems. Here one operating system, here like this, different operating systems, same as virtual servers we can install. But when we deploy applications, when we deploy operating system, here only lib and binary files will be, library and binary files will be installed. When we deploy operating system, for example, here I deployed so Windows 2016 in this container. Okay, so only lib and bin files will be installed, library and binary files. Okay, here some Ubuntu operating system, Ubuntu. Here some Windows 2012 R2 operating system. Here RHCL, some different operating system. So when we deploy operating system, when we deploy container, so only lib and bin files will be installed, and also the size of the container is 200 MB only. When we deploy same operating system as virtual servers 2016 will take 14 GB of this size, hard drive size, but here 200 MB.
How it is possible?
Yeah, because of only library and binary files will be installed. Whatever required files we have, those will be installed. But here
All files.
it will be installed ISO image. This is full blowing operating system. So here normally to deploy our code, to deploy our application in real time. So for example, to deploy our Flipkart application, for example. So these files are enough, bin and lib files. Okay. So for example, if you want to live in one flat, okay, normally if you have food, clothes and bed is enough to you, normally for living. Okay. So if you want to live lavish, require furnishing, ACs, different things, right? So this is lavish, VMware is lavish, this is simple one. Both are same, but it is simple one. But here what is the difference? When we create these containers, so it will take 200 MB only, means lightweight environment. Due to that, what will happen? Deployment and downtime is very high.
Deployment time.
Deployment time and downtime is less, not high. Less. Okay, here it is high, it is less. Okay, so here when we deploy any application, it will take some time, right? And also downtime is high, but here it is very less time. When you want to deploy any application, within 1 minute you can deploy in this. And when you want to restart any container, it will take 30 seconds only to restart the container. Even though, so the developer, whoever working on the container, he doesn't understand, may not understand if the container is restarted or not. Very quickly restart, because this is a lightweight environment. Okay, so that is why project teams are looking for Docker containers. This is the latest trend. Okay, currently most of the project teams, they are using Docker containers. They are migrating their infrastructure to containers. So these Docker containers are lightweight and we can move anywhere, we can use anywhere. So container is nothing but it is just like box. We can move anywhere, we can use anywhere. In Linux, Windows, wherever you want to use, you can use this container, Docker containers. Okay, so this is the latest advanced one. So this will be future actually. Coming years also, coming 10 years, Docker, Kubernetes, this is the future. Right? So any questions and any questions on here? Anyone, any questions?
No,
సార్
sir.
ఇప్పుడు
Continue.
ఫీచర్స్ నుండి లైబ్రరీస్ లో ఇమ్యూనిటీ ఉంటాయి సార్. ఇప్పుడు దీంట్లో ఉన్న ఫీచర్స్ దాంట్లో కూడా కావాలన్నమాట. సో మరి ఇప్పుడు ఆ ఫీచర్స్ అన్ని ఇన్స్టాల్ కావాలనుకోండి ఎలా సార్?
ఫీచర్స్ మనకి ఇప్పుడు కంటెంట్స్లో యూజ్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు మనకి మీడియా ప్లేయర్ అవసరమే ఉంటుందండి. మన కోడ్ డిప్లాయ్ చేయాలంటే మన కోడ్ డిప్లాయ్ అయితే చాలు. మన పర్పస్ ఏంటి, డెవాప్స్లో కోడ్ డిప్లాయ్ చేయాలి. డెవాప్స్లో మనం చేసేది ఏంటి, కోడ్ డిప్లాయ్మెంట్స్ ఉంటాయి, రైట్? అండ్ ఆల్సో ఆటోమేషన్ ఉంటుంది. సో అది చేయాలి అంటే కంటైనర్స్ సరిపోతాయి. మనకి మీడియా ప్లేయర్ అవసరం లేదు, పెయింట్ బ్రష్ అవసరం లేదు, రైట్? సో ఇక్కడ ఏంటంటే ఫీచర్స్ అని ఏంటి, సో మీడియా ప్లేయరు అండ్ పెయింట్ బ్రష్, నోట్ ప్యాడ్, different things are there in this. This is full operating system. We don't require that to deploy our code, right? So that is why we are installing only library and binary files. Got it, right? So this is the latest trend, lightweight environment. So this we use in real time. Okay. So when we talk about Docker containers, we'll go deep dive. It will take 5 hours. Docker will take 5 hours. Kubernetes also will take 6 to 7 hours. Kubernetes. Docker will take 5 to 5 hours. Okay. And advanced tools will go deep dive. Fine అండి. సో ఎంతవరకు క్లియర్ ఉంది కదా? దీస్ ఆర్ ది వెరీ బేసిక్స్ అండి.
డాక్టర్ ఇమేజ్ అనేది ఒక సాఫ్ట్వేర్ లేకపోతే
అదొక ప్యాకేజ్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్
ప్యాకేజ్
అంతే.
సేమ్ లైక్ నథింగ్ బట్ ఇక్కడ మీడియం లేదు అంతే.
సేమ్ లైక్ దిస్. సో ఇవి చాలా చాలా ఈజియర్ అండి. క్లౌడ్లో మనం ఎన్వైర్న్మెంట్లో వర్క్ చేయడం ఇట్స్ వెరీ ఈజియర్. డోంట్ కన్ఫ్యూజ్ ఎనీవేర్. సో వై దిస్ సర్వర్స్, వై దిస్ డాకర్స్ లైక్ దట్, డోంట్ థింక్. బై సింగిల్ క్లిక్ we can create. Okay, it is not complicated. Okay, it's very easier to handle Dockers and containers, Kubernetes, Terraform, whatever tools we have in DevOps. So we can easily handle. So once you practice properly, we can handle. Okay, even though cracking interview is a bit difficult, but once you crack the interview, so you will be enjoyed in DevOps roles. For sure, I'm telling. In our project, so we have some team, different teams available. Okay, so we delegate some team members to Jenkins. They will monitor Jenkins jobs only. We delegate some team members to Kubernetes. We are learning many tools, but we don't use all the tools in real time. Only 1 or 2 tools only. Okay, so currently the automation is very hot, right? Current market. So this Docker, Kubernetes, these are all very core tools. Fine. So yeah, next we'll move to other concept అండి. సో ఎంతవరకు క్లియర్ అండి? సాంబశివరావు గారు అండ్ నరసింహ గారు.
No issues as of now.
Yeah. So these are the very basic things అండి. నెక్స్ట్ ఏం చేద్దామంటే మనం, సో let us go to how to create AWS account. How to create AWS account, what are the services available in the AWS account. I'll give you overview today. So we don't create any services today, just overview. Tomorrow we'll create services. Okay, so we'll walk through the console, what are the features available, what are the services available. We'll walk through one by one, right? So how to connect that, how to check that, right? What are the things available? So we'll walk through. So tomorrow onwards we'll start services one by one.
ల్యాప్టాప్ రిక్వైర్స్.
సో ల్యాప్టాప్ మీరు తీసుకురావాల్సిన అవసరం లేదండి. మీరు ఇంట్లో ప్రాక్టీస్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. మీరు కూర్చొని చేస్తారో చేసుకోవచ్చు, పక్క రూమ్లో కూర్చొని చేసుకోవచ్చు, ప్రాక్టీస్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. తీసుకురండి, పర్లేదు. మీకు ఒకవేళ టైము ఇక్కడే చేద్దాం అనుకుంటే తీసుకురండి. ఓకే, లేదంటే మీకు ఎలా వీడియో ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి చూసి ఇంట్లో కూడా ప్రాక్టీస్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఓకే, మీరు అది మీరు కంఫర్ట్ చూసుకోండి, ఎలా అయినా పర్లేదు. ఫైన్. నౌ ఫస్ట్ ఏం చేద్దామంటే, సో హౌ టు క్రియేట్ AWS account I'll show you quickly. So after that we'll walk through the console. Okay, to create AWS account, just type aws.amazon.com. aws.amazon.com is the URL to create AWS account. Okay, so this is console. Yeah, when you want to create AWS account, click on sign in the console. I already logged in, that is why it is directly login. I saved my password. I just sign out here. Just type aws.amazon.com. Now you can click on the console, this sign into the console. So now it is showing create a new AWS account. Click on this. Now it is asking email address, password, confirm password, AWS account. Okay, so we have to register this account. We have to provide all the details. So if when you give email address, password and account, click on continue. Once click on this continue, it will ask you address, your address, phone number and all, right? Go next, 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 next. After that, by end of the page, it will ask you debit card or credit card details. Your bank debit card or credit card details. Okay, so we have to provide that.
But you said it is way more.
Yeah, I'll explain that. Wait for 2 minutes. Yeah. So we have to provide the credit card or debit card details. Okay. So once you provide the details only, it will be activated. Account will be success. Otherwise, account will not be activated. Account will not be created without credit card or debit card. You have to provide the details. Once you provide the details, account will be created. So once that account is free for 1 year. That whatever account we create, that account is free for 1 year. Within the 1 year, we can utilize that account, right? Fine. And also, every service will have some limitation. EC2, for example, EC2 means server creation, S3 means storage creation, and VPC means network creation. Every service will have some limitation. Within that limitation only we have to utilize. So once you submit this account, once you register, once you sign up this account, 2 rupees will be cut from your account. Just 2 rupees. So after 1 week, they will revert the 2 rupees. Okay. So unknowingly, they will not charge anything from your account. Unknowingly, they will not cut any amount from your account. And one more thing. So if you utilize beyond the limits, for example, some limitation is there, right? So 750 hours we have to utilize maximum. If you utilize beyond the limits, what will happen? Some bill will be generated. Some charges will be generated. So for that charges, AWS will send some emails. This is the bill generated. You have to pay the bill. So by the time you can reply to that email, so I'm using some test servers, right? So I'm not using production servers. Please revert that. They will revert back. They will zero that bill. Okay. If you are not responding to that emails, what will happen? They will not deduct any amount. What they will do? They will suspend your account. Means they will stop your account, AWS account. After that, what we can do? We can create one more account. Nothing will be happening. So using different email address, we can create one more account. So unknowingly, they will not charge any amount from your account. Okay. Since 7.5 years, I'm using AWS accounts, free accounts. I haven't charged any single NP. Okay, nothing will be happening. Right. So you can create and you can give the bank details, means account details, credit card or debit card details. So nothing will be happening. Okay. So auto deductions will not be happening here. Don't worry about this, right? Don't confuse anywhere. You can give the. It will support ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, Axis Bank, Citibank, like this. Even SBI also it will support. SBI also, debit card or credit card it will support. So today you can complete this account creation. Okay. So if you have any confusion to create account, you can take the screenshot and put into the group. Our FastTag group is there, right? In that you can post the screenshot so that I'll guide you. I'll check it out and I'll guide you how to create account. Okay. So today it is very simple, like Gmail account. To create an account is very simple. Like Gmail account, you can create the account today itself. So tomorrow onwards we'll start working on these services, right? Fine. So once we create the account, just type aws.amazon.com here. It will be open like this. Go to my account, click on AWS Management Console. Once you click on this, it will ask you to provide username, password. So username, root user. So always we can check this root user, but in real time we don't use root user. We always use IAM user. IAM means identity and access management. So every employee will have different user. That is IAM user. That we have to use in real time. But in our test labs, we use root user only. Right? Root user means full permissions. IAM will not have full permissions. Right? Fine. So once you open this, you have to give your email address here, login ID, click on next. You have to enter these characters for security. 4 PW NTS. Now it is asking password. You give password. Now I am able to log in my console. This is my AWS management console, right? So once we log in into the console, if you want to check any services, so this is the tab, top right corner, top left corner. So these are services. Click on services. These are the services available, different services. Okay. So we'll go through these services once we complete other things. Okay. Yeah. Next one here, one tab is there, one icon is there, which is Cloud Shell. Cloud Shell means command line. When you want to use command line, we have to enable this Cloud Shell. Okay. Next one is a bell icon. What is this? Normally, whenever you create any services, whenever you get any bill, you will get some notifications, right? In this bell icon, we'll get some notifications. So it will show you one notification, two notification, like that. When you click on that, it will show you notifications. So after that, this is my login ID. So if you click on this login ID, see here we have, I have my account number. This is my AWS account number, right? Next here, I have ordination details, my ordination. So this is test lab, right? We don't have any ordination, right? Next one is my service quotas. What is quota? Service limitations. What is the limitations are available? That will be available inside of this quota. Next one is my billing dashboard. If you want to check your bills, how much bill generated, if you want to check, click on this my billing dashboard. See here. So this is my bill, 58.09 rupees generated here. So services wise, the bill is like this, services wise. If you want to check previous bills, click on bills here. So this is September bill. If you want to check August bill, you can click on this. This is August bill, zero, nothing is there, right? So like this, you can check the billing dashboard if you want to check how much bill generated. So bill will be generated something, but no need to pay anything. Okay. Next one, my security credentials. If you want to change your password, okay, you can go through my security credentials. Here you can change your password. If you want to change your AWS account password, you can change from here. If you want to sign out, you can sign out from here. Okay. Next one. Here it is showing some global. Okay. So what is global? So billing is global service. Okay. Next, I'll show you something here. When I click on EC2 or some service, what will happen? I'll show you. So when I click on some EC2, what it is showing? It is showing some Ohio, means it is a region. These are all regions, different regions. Okay, US East North Virginia, US East Ohio, US East North California, US East Oregon. These are the US regions, America's regions. Region means, region and data center. Region means it's a data center. So these are the America's region data centers. So this is Africa region, Africa data center. These are the Asia Pacific, APAC regions. So here we have Mumbai region, right? Mumbai region, Singapore region, Sydney. These are the Asia Pacific regions. Okay. Next to Canada region, Europe regions. These are all data centers. So currently AWS is having this many data centers. Okay. So location wise, these are the data centers. So when we are deploying any server, when we deploy any application, so when we select any data center, in that data center only it will be deployed, right? So for example, if you want to create any servers in Mumbai region, you have to select Mumbai region. So click on Mumbai here. See here, it is selected Mumbai. Here you can create some applications, right? So based on the requirement, based on the project requirement, we have to select the regions. that will be decided by client only. So we don't decide that region, that will be decided by client only. This is client deciding factors. Region will be decided by client. For example, our project is available in Mumbai. So in Mumbai region, some servers we can create. Our project is available in Europe region. In Europe region, we can select Europe region here, and we can create some servers in Europe region.
డిఫరెన్స్ ఉంటాయి సార్ ఏజెన్సీ బట్టి గ్రూప్స్ ఏమన్నా
ఉంటుందండి డిఫరెన్స్ చూపిస్తాను నేను తర్వాత. ఓకే, సో రీజన్ టు రీజన్ సమ్ పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ వైజ్ కానీ సర్వీసెస్ వైజ్ కానీ డిఫరెన్స్ అయితే ఉంటుంది, అది నేను చూపిస్తాను మీకు. ఓకే
సార్ డౌట్ వచ్చింది. యాక్చువల్గా మన క్లయింట్ వచ్చి ముంబై నుంచి మనం ఫార్వర్డ్ అయ్యి సపోజ్ ఓయో నుంచి చేసాము. సో మిడిల్ ఆఫ్ ది ప్రాజెక్ట్ మనం ముంబైకి చేంజ్ అవ్వాలనుకున్నాం, డేటా మొత్తం అటాచ్ అయిపోతుందా?
మైగ్రేట్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. మైగ్రేషన్స్ ఫ్రమ్ ముంబై టు ఒహాయో యూ కెన్ మైగ్రేట్ యువర్ డేటా. మైగ్రేషన్స్
డేటా అయితే మేనేజ్
ఏ మ్యారేజ్ కాదు. సో బ్యాకప్స్ అన్నీ ఉంటాయి, మీకు డేటా ఎక్కడ లాస్ అవ్వదు. రైట్, సో దీస్ ఆర్ ది డిఫరెంట్ డేటా సెంటర్స్. ఓకే, డిఫరెంట్ రీజియన్స్. ఓకే, next one, support. So this support is very very important. Okay, so click on this support. So here it is showing support center. What is support center? For example, while working on some activities in real time, for example, we are working on some server is giving some issues. Okay, our network, while creating network, we are getting some issues. So we'll go to support center, we'll raise a case with vendor, we'll raise a ticket request. What is ticket? Ticket is nothing but it is a request. So normally, so when you want to, for example, in your mobile or internet broadband, so some slowness issue, we are getting some slowness issue, right? So by the time what we will do, we'll call vendor. So we are unable to connect the internet, we are getting this slowness issue like that. So immediately what they will do, they will raise one ticket. Backend, the ticket will be raised. Ticket means it is a request. Okay, so every ticket will have some SLA. What is SLA? SLA and ఏంటండి? Every request will have some SLA,
Service level agreement.
yes. SLA means it is a service level agreement, means time limitation, time limit. Every ticket will have some time limit. For example, in tickets also we have different types of tickets: P1 tickets, P2 tickets, P3. P1 means priority 1 tickets, priority 2 tickets, priority 3 tickets, like that. So based on the ticket priority, the ticket will be resolved. If the ticket is priority 1 ticket, when we raise the ticket priority 1, if any production server is down, we raise priority 1 ticket. So by the time, so they will take that request and prioritize, they resolve the issue. So priority 1 ticket will have only 1 hour time, maximum 1 hour. Within that 1 hour, they have to resolve. Okay, so priority 2 tickets will have 4 hours limitation, time limit. Priority 3 will have 24 hours. Priority 4 will have 48 hours. Like that, based on the priority, we have to raise the request. Okay, so once you click on this support center, it will show you something here. See here, create case. Case means ticket. Okay, click on this create case. See here, account and billing support. For example, you got some extra bill, unnecessary bill, unknowingly some bill generated. You select this and you can provide type here. You can select billing category, you can select something, right? Account something, you can select priority category, and you can give severity, priority 1, priority 2, something. Subject line, so unknowingly bill generated something, subject line. And description also you have to enter something, you have to note something. And also if you have any screenshot, you can attach screenshot here. Submit the ticket. So once you submit this, it will go to AWS. They will receive the ticket. AWS support team, they will receive the ticket. So once they receive the ticket, they start working on the ticket. Okay. So they resolve the issue. They resolve the issue. They start working on the request. Once complete the issue, once resolve the issue, they will call back. They will call back us and they will get confirmation whether the service is working fine or not. Then only they will close the request. That level of support will be provided by AWS. Okay. So in real time also we'll raise the case same way when you are facing any challenges in real time. Okay. So this is one billing request. Service limit increase request also there, and also technical support request. Technical issues, some server issue, network issue, and storage issue, any issue, technical issue. You can select technical support and you can give the details here. You can submit the request. Once you submit that, AWS team will receive. Immediately they will send one email. We received the request. We started working on this request. Once it is resolved, we'll update you. Once it is complete, they will call back. Right? Yeah. This is support. Okay. Next one is expert help. What is this? Expert help means, so this is premium customer support. Premium customers. Premium customers means they will pay extra. So they will have premium support. Means what will happen? Whenever, for example, our project is premium support having. So if you face any issues, we directly call them. No need to raise ticket. Nothing SLA. No SLA, nothing. Immediately we'll call them. They should resolve immediately. That is expert help. When we click on that and uh, when we click on that and when we create that, so immediate action, it should be resolved immediately. Means or like on demand, actions, right? Next one is forums. What is forums? So forums are nothing but it is some discussions. Forums are nothing but some discussions. So in forums normally what we will do, so we'll register in this and we'll follow these forums. Whenever any services launches, new services, some discussions will be happened in this. Okay. So we'll get very good information in these forums. We have to register and we have to involve into these forums so that we'll get some information about services, issues, we'll get some information. Right. Next one is documentation. Click on this documentation. This is very, very important documentation. So these are the documents available in AWS console. These are the official documentation. For example, I want to have this EC2 document. Click on this EC2. When I click on this EC2, it is showing like HTML format, PDF format, Kindle. So whatever format we require, you can select that, click on PDF. Now it is showing PDF format. So this is official document, detailed document. So what is Amazon EC2, features of Amazon EC2, how to get started in EC2, access Amazon EC2, pricing for Amazon EC2, like this. So detailed document, all the information is available in the document. This is official documentation. So if you want to download this document, you can click on this. It will be downloaded to your laptop, right? So in real time, we follow this official document sometimes. Okay. So this is the documentation, which is official documentation. So these are very, very important documents available in the AWS console. Next one is training. What is training? So sometimes AWS will provide some free trainings in New Year time, festival time. Sometimes they provide free trainings. Okay. So free trainings means if you click on this, see here. See here. So digital training, classroom training, events. So these are the not free of cost. Okay. So don't enroll this. See here. They are asking you to enroll. Don't enroll this. So here they will show you some free. Here it will show you free. Whenever you got free, you can register if you want to attend. Okay. So these are the WebEx trainings. Okay. Any services, new service launches, by the time they will provide you, you can enroll and you can attend free trainings. But these trainings not free of cost. If you enroll this, what will happen? Some charges will be applied. Okay. Don't enroll this. Whenever you got free trainings, you can enroll and you can attend. Okay. Next one. Getting started resource center. What is this? So here, apart from AWS services, AWS is providing other services also, which are like full stack developer, front end developer, right? So these are the different services. DevOps engineers means some information will be provided, not complete course about DevOps, some information, right? And AI app developer, artificial intelligence app developer, data scientist, like this database admission. So apart from the AWS, they provide other services also here. Okay, if you want to go through this, you can go through. If you want to explore your skills, you can explore from free of cost. Yes, just documentation. You can go through the documentation. Yes. So here, yeah, dive deeper, serverless, containers, storage, compute, machine learning, databases like this. Okay. So these are the things available, right? Next one, let us go through services quickly. So one by one, we'll walk through services. Click on services. See here, compute services, EC2, Lightsail, Lambda function, batch, Elastic Beanstalk. These are the compute services. So if you want to create any server, we can go through EC2. Tomorrow we'll start this service. First service is EC2. Tomorrow we'll start with here. Okay, EC2. So these are the compute services. When you want to create any infrastructure, we use these services. Okay, and developer tools. These are the different developer tools and machine learning tools. These are the machine learning services. So AWS cost management services. These are the cost management. So cost management means budget, AWS budget. So we have to, for example, in our project, I am working as a senior architect. Senior architect. So I have to control the budget in our project. So client assigns some budget to the project. Within that budget only we have to utilize the resources, right? So for which what we will do, we'll create some budget plans. So for 2021, how the budget would be. So how many resources required, how many servers required, storage required, like that we have to create this some budget plan. We have to design some budget plan. So within that limitation only we have to create the resources. We have to use the resources for which we create some thresholds. Threshold means limitation, cutoff, right? So that budget, once it is reaches to 50% of the budget, so we'll get notified through one email when we create budget plan, when we create threshold. So like that we have to create some threshold. Okay, and yeah, these are the budget cost management, how to control the cost, how to prepare the budget like this. Next, containers. So these are the containers. Next one is storage. This is very important. So these are the storages we are going to discuss: S3, EFS, S3 Glacier, FSX we don't discuss, not required, and storage gateways also not required. AWS backup we discussed. S3 means it is a simple storage service. Okay. EFS means elastic file system. S3 we can compare with Google Drive. EFS means elastic file system to share the files And backups, AWS backups. So one service is there, it will take 1 hour, 1 hour session. S3 will take 45 minutes nearly. EFS will take 1 hour. S3 AWS backup will take 1 hour, like that. So we'll go through services deep dive when we discuss about services. And also databases. These are the RDS, DynamoDB, different databases available, right? So and also migrations, data transfer from on-premises to cloud, cloud to on-premises. If you want to migrate your data, your project data, we use migration tools, right? These are the migration and transfer tools. Next one is the networking concepts, VPC. VPC means virtual private cloud. It is a logical virtual network. So in AWS data center, we create logical network, virtual network, right? How to create virtual network, how to configure network. So we'll go deep dive. So when we discuss about VPC, right? And also few more services are available. So management and governance. These are the services available. In this we have CloudWatch and CloudTrail. Two monitoring tools are available. These tools we'll discuss. CloudWatch and CloudTrail. Okay. So CloudWatch is for our infrastructure monitoring, server monitoring. Means, so whenever you start the server, will get notified through email. It is a alerting system, logs, right? And whenever server is hanged or stopped or terminated, we'll get one notification through CloudWatch. Whenever the server is not reachable, we'll get one alert. So this CloudWatch will monitor your infrastructure and it will send you notifications. Okay. So CloudTrail is also monitoring tool, which is for console monitoring. Your AWS console monitoring. For example, we three are team members in one project. We are working, right? So you are working on some services. You are working on some services. I am working on some services, right? So who is doing what? Tracked by CloudTrail. You created some services on S3. Your name will be appear. This person created this service, so and so timestamp. Because to track, for example, 100 people are there and 50 people are there in the project. Who is doing what? How can we track? So some people deleted the resources. Servers deleted. How can we track that? Using CloudTrail, right? So we can work on these two tools, monitoring tools. So we'll go deep dive. CloudTrail, CloudWatches, these both are very, very important, right? And one more important service here is AWS auto scaling. Auto scaling. Scaling, what is scaling? Measuring. Scaling means, yeah, we can scale up resources, we can scale down resources. Scaling means increase the resources whenever demands comes in. Whenever there is no demand, automatically decrease the resources. So this is auto scaling. I give you a small example here for auto scaling. For example, Flipkart is giving some offers. Flipkart is giving some offers. Festival offers or New Year offers. So mobile, 20,000 mobile is, they are giving 50% off, 10,000. On New Year day, from 11 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., they are giving this offer, right? So in that case, what will happen? They expected 15,000 users, but actual turn up is 25,000. What will happen here? They expected 15,000 users means 50, they analyzed that 15,000 users tried to book the product, but actual turn up is 25,000 users. So as per the 15,000 users, they prepare the infrastructure, servers, right? So but 25,000 users try to connect their server. What will happen? Site will not be available, right? Site will not be connected, right? So even for example, IRCTC is there, IRCTC, railway tickets. So normal time we can book the ticket. Tatkal time what will happen? Site cannot be, the page cannot be displayed, and time session timeout errors we get, right. So the same way, Flipkart also when they configure manual process, so when they expect 15,000 users, if 25,000 users try to book the product, no one will get the product. Site will not be opened. So to avoid that, they will configure auto scaling. Auto scaling means what will happen? Whenever the server receive more requests, automatically servers will be increased, resource will be increased. So that what will happen? Our application will not be down. Our application will be available 24 by 7 without any issues, right? So to maintain your application up and running fine 24 by 7, auto scaling will help you, right? So auto scaling automatically increase the resources whenever demand comes. Whenever there is no demand, automatically it will decrease the resource. Clear, Anu? సో 25,000 యూజర్స్ ఒకసారి సర్వర్స్ కనెక్ట్ అవుతా ట్రై చేస్తే సైట్ ఓపెన్ అవ్వదు కదా, అప్పుడు ఆటో స్కేలింగ్ ఏం చేస్తుంది? రిసోర్స్ ఇంక్రీజ్ చేస్తుంది, ఆటోమేటిక్గా సైట్ అప్ అయిపోతుంది, సైట్ ఎక్కడ డౌన్ అవ్వదు, రైట్. సో దిస్ ఆటో స్కేలింగ్ ఈస్ వెరీ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఫీచర్. సో విల్ గో డీప్ డ్రైవ్ how the servers will be increased, how the servers will be decreased. We'll see that in live. Okay, how to configure auto scaling, how to connect auto scaling. So all these things will be covered. Okay, fine. Next one is security, identity and compliance. Here we have IAM, identity access management. This is all about user management. How to create user, how to apply permissions to user, how to connect using IAM user will be covered in the session. It will take 1 hour session. IAM. Okay. So when we discuss about this, we'll go deep dive. And also, apart from this, we have 2 more services are there, which are like SNS, means simple notification service. So what is SNS? For example, in our home we are using or else we are using mobile data. So we have utilized 100 MB mobile data. So once we complete that utilization, we'll get one notification. You have utilized 100 MB of data, right? So backend SNS will be SNS configured. That will send notification. Even broadband also, it will send notification. You have utilized 500 GB, 500 MB, like that, right? Based on the notification configuration, it will send the notification. Also, one more service we have, which is SQS, simple queue service. What is this? Simple queue service means where we configure this. For example, we book one product in Flipkart. So once we book the product, we'll get one notification. Your order has been placed. That notification sent by SQS. So once the product is packed, so it is ready to dispatch, we'll get one notification. Once it is reaches to your city, we'll get one more notification, like the product has been, it is out for delivery, it is ready to delivery, right? So and once it is delivered, we get one more notification, it is successfully delivered, right? So like that, SQS will send notification. Backend SQS is configured for this. SQS will send notification in all the stages, one by one, right? So this SQS, SNS also will go deep dive. So when we discuss about this service, okay, nearly 15 to 18 services we cover in AWS. So not all these servers, these all servers not required basically. Okay, 15 to 18 services we cover. Those are very very important for a DevOps engineer. Okay, those services will be covered. The same way in Azure and Google Cloud also will cover the services. Okay, so from tomorrow we'll start with EC2 from here. So how to create EC2 instance? Tomorrow we'll create Linux server as well as Windows server. Okay, so tomorrow we'll work on first Linux, how to create one by one, step by step we'll go. So creating server it will take 1 minute only, but step by step we'll go, slowly we'll go. Okay, so once you understand, we'll go a bit faster, right? From tomorrow you have to practice. Practice is more important. Tomorrow's session is also very very important. Easy to. Okay, so you have to practice more on that. So after that you will understand. First session you may have small confusion. Okay, so every day we'll create servers. No need to worry about. First time you will be confused, but every day same activity will repeat. So after 2 3 days you will understand clearly. Okay. Yeah. Any questions and anyone? Any questions? Anyone?
Ram,
Yeah.
Ram, regarding AWS registration, can we
Hmm.
use the existing Amazon details to register AWS
Existing Amazon
account?
ఏంటండి account,
I
right?
have an Amazon account, yeah.
When you created that account?
It was 10 years before.
No, no, no. Don't use that, sir. So you can recreate new one. Okay. So you can
Okay,
create new account, fresh account using different email address. You can use the same
okay,
credit card, but use different email address. Okay.
okay. So regarding bank details, can we use the UK or US bank details rather than India bank details?
UK and US, that we have to check. You can use India account. It's better
Yeah,
because
because I don't have any India account, so I'm just checking whether can I use this UK bank details rather India bank details.
mm, you can try once. We'll see that. I haven't tried
Okay.
that. I haven't tried that. You can
Yeah,
try once. We'll see that.
yeah, because there is a location change. For example,
Mm,
if you register
mm.
Amazon Web Services in India,
Okay.
if I moved from India to
Mm.
UK, is there any issue while accessing Amazon account in different locations?
Nothing will be there. You can use it
Okay.
anywhere across the globe.
Because if wherever you go, the location is always enabled to our
Mm.
laptop.
Yes, yes.
So
Anywhere
that I
you can use.
think this. Okay.
These are the global
And
services. No need to worry about.
okay.
Anywhere you can use.
Yeah. And one more thing is regarding the certification.
Mm.
Am I able to write the exam as soon as this course is complete?
Yes, yes. I'll guide you. I'll provide you some questions also. And also, if
Okay.
you need any support, so our people are there in the Promotic Center. They will clear the exam.
Okay.
That support also you can take
Okay.
if you want.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll provide you all the contacts and I'll provide you details. So once complete
Yeah.
our course, definitely you can write your exam, whatever exam.
Yeah. And one final thing is, in the last couple of minutes, we
Hmm.
discussed about all the services.
Yes,
So what
yes,
are the
correct.
what are the required services in DevOps? I think we should discuss with at least one example or one case study. You said around 15 to 18 services is important. So
Hmm.
in such case, can we look into a deep dive or at least with one case study or one example?
Yes, yes. Fine. So for example, if you want to create an instance, okay. So instance means
Yeah.
server. We have to go to compute service. Click on EC2. Click
Yeah.
on EC2. So this is EC2 service. So click on launch instance to create server. I'm
Yeah.
talking about. So why we require
Okay.
server? To deploy applications. So normally
Yes.
in real time, we'll get some request. Okay, so some project team requires some servers. They will raise one request. We receive the request. Okay, so we have to create the server as per the project team requirement. For which we use EC2 service. Click on launch instance and we can select the will go tomorrow will go because if I explain today you will be confused, that is why. So using these images we can create the servers and we can hand over to project teams. They will start the development. on the servers.
Yes, I agree. Actually, I was a bit confused because we have a lot of services, but I'm seeing this for the first time. So even I didn't
No,
know what it does exactly. So that's why I'm requesting you to
no,
please give it. Yeah.
no problem, no problem. So don't worry. So we'll go slowly. So you will understand all these things. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, yeah. So if I show you, I can show you within 5 minutes. Okay. But you will be confused. That is why. So when we create instance, first time I'll show you clearly. Tomorrow, to create instance, it will take 1 hour. First time. So option by option will go. But normally it will take 1 minute only. Every option I'll explain tomorrow. That is why it will take some time.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Ram. Bye.
Fine. So from tomorrow, so we'll start working on the services. So every day we'll cover 2 hours. Make sure we'll cover 2 hours, even though weekends also. So if I cover Monday to Friday, 2 hours, it will take 1.5 months. But we want to complete. So as discussed, we can complete within 1 month, within 1 month, for which we require weekends also. So weekends we will take another extra 1 hour, maybe 3 hours or 4 hours also, right? So that what will happen within 1 month we can complete. Is it fine, Andy? Maybe okay na?
Yeah, no, yes, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, within
No
1 month we
problem.
can. Yeah. సో ఎందుకంటే మనకి మీకు 1 మంత్ కంప్లీట్ అయితే కోర్సు మీకు ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే అక్టోబర్ మిడ్లో కంప్లీట్ అయిపోతుందండి. అక్టోబర్ 20th అనుకోండి. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ టుడే 21st, సెప్టెంబర్ 21st. సో అక్టోబర్ 21st కంప్లీట్ అయింది అనుకోండి. అక్టోబర్ 21st అంటే నవంబర్ డిసెంబర్ మార్కెట్ చాలా బాగుంటుంది, జాబ్ మార్కెట్. మరి డిసెంబర్ ఎండింగ్లో హాలిడేస్ ఉంటాయి యుఎస్లో, థ్యాంక్స్ గివింగ్. అంటే ఆ 2 monthsలో మీరు ట్రై చేస్తే సో ఈజీగా మీరు గ్రాప్ చేసుకోవచ్చు ఆపర్చునిటీస్. సో డిసెంబర్
Okay.
ఎండింగ్లో మళ్ళీ థ్యాంక్స్ గివింగ్ ఉంటుంది. జనవరి 15th వరకు కూడా ఎక్కువ కాల్స్ ఉండవు. అందుకేంటంటే మనం 1 monthలో కంప్లీట్ అయితే నెక్స్ట్ 2 monthsలో మీకు జాబ్ వచ్చేలా ప్లాన్ చేసుకోవాలి మీరు. ఓకే, డిసెంబర్ ఎండింగ్
Okay.
లోపు
ఓకే
అలా.
సార్. యాక్చువల్లీ సార్ నేను మీ దగ్గరికి వచ్చాను కదా, సో నేను ఈ వీకెండ్ యూకే వెళ్ళిపోతున్నాను సార్. మళ్ళీ సడన్ గా క్లయింట్ కాల్ చేశారు, ఈ షుడ్ కమ్ అని. సో
ఓకే,
నేను మళ్ళీ 9 to 11 అంటే అర్లీ మార్నింగ్ 4 o'clock లెగాలి. ఇట్స్ ఓకే సార్, నో ప్రాబ్లం, ఐ కెన్ మేనేజ్.
పర్వాలేదు కదా మీకు?
నో ప్రాబ్లం, నో ప్రాబ్లం.
ఓకే, మీకు రికార్డింగ్ కూడా వస్తుంది. సో ఇన్ కేస్ ఎప్పుడైనా ఒక్కటి మిస్ అవ్వకండి, ట్రై చేయండి, మిస్ అవ్వకుండా అటెండ్ అవ్వండి. ఇన్ కేస్ మిస్ అయితే రికార్డింగ్ కూడా మీ దగ్గర ఉంటుంది. ఓకే,
లేదు, ఐ ట్రై టు అటెండ్ సార్, కంప్లీట్గా అటెండ్ అవుతాను.
అటెండ్ అవ్వాలండి, ఎందుకంటే మనకి ఫాస్ట్ ట్రాక్ కాబట్టి మిస్ అవ్వకుండా అటెండ్ అవ్వండి.
అవును.
సో దట్ మీకు రికార్డింగ్ కూడా ఉంటుంది. తర్వాత మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి రికార్డింగ్ గో త్రూ అయితే ఇంకా మీకు చాలా క్లారిటీ వస్తుంది.
ఓకే సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ.
ఓకే, యా, ఫైన్. సో టుమారో ఆన్వర్డ్స్ మనం సర్వీసెస్ స్టార్ట్ చేద్దాం. సో 9 to 11, సో కంప్లీట్గా మనం 2 hours కవర్ చేద్దాం. షార్ప్ 9కి లాగిన్ అయిపోండి. ఓకే, సో ఏంటంటే మనకి 2 hours కంప్లీట్గా కవర్ అవ్వాలి కదా. షార్ప్ 9కి లాగిన్ అయ్యి షార్ప్ 11కి క్లోజ్ చేద్దాం. ఫైన్ అండి.
ఓకే సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ.
యా, ఇక్కడ స్టాప్ చేద్దామండి ఈరోజు. ఫైన్. యా, థ్యాంక్ యూ ఆల్.
Okay, thank you.
థ్యాంక్ యూ అండి.
బాయ్.